So let's take a look at our cron tab again. Let's go cron tab with the E option, and we've opened it up. See, it's remembered that nano is our editor, and just in case you're interested, if you go onto your home directory and you look at your all the files with ls-a, there's a hidden file here called selected editor, and it's that file that stores your preference for editor. So in here, if we look at .selected editor, you can see you can change that if you want by putting the path to the editor that you want to have, or alternatively you could just type the select editor command and it would give you the choice again. Okay, but I'm going to keep it to nano and leave it like that. But that's how if you wanted to change the editor later on, maybe you get better with another command line editor, that's how you can change it. Okay, so let's go on cron tab -E. And now what we're going to do is we're going to look at some more advanced options and more advanced ways that you can do some scheduling. Okay, we can add as many rows as we like in this cron tab, and they'll all work exactly the same. So I'm going to make a new row and look at some more advanced scheduling opportunities. So for example, let's say I want to run something exactly at the hour and 15, 30 and 45 minutes past. Okay, so I don't just have to have one option here. I could have 0, 15, 30, 45. That's going to be my first column, right? So this is going to be the minutes. I could have at 0 past, 15 minutes past, 30 minutes past, and 45 minutes past. Notice how I've got commas but no spaces. You're not allowed to have any spaces because spaces separate the columns. Okay, so that would be like my first column. I could, then space this stuff over so I got a bit more space, and now I could say, okay, run it at every hour, every day of the month, every day of the week, and then whatever command I wanted to happen here. So something like, hello, echo hello, for example. And this would run at exactly as the hour turned, and 15 minutes past the hour, 30 minutes past the hour, and 45 minutes past the hour, or quarter to the hour. Okay, or I could just say more simply, run every 15 minutes. And the way I do that is star, then a /15. Okay, now that says run every 15 minutes. I could say run every 5 minutes by */5, or every 3 minutes */3, every 7 minutes */7, okay, or */15, like I said, for every 15 minutes. But what about what if I wanted to run every 15 minutes every 3 days, let's say? So what I'd do is I'd keep the hours the same, and I'd go to the days of the month option and do */3. Okay, now, so every 3 days, so let's say on the 1st of the month, the 4th of the month, the 7th of the month, and so on those days, it'll run every 15 minutes. Okay, so you can see how this kind of works here. What if I wanted the command to run once a week at 23:59 on a Sunday, only in December and January? 23:59 on a Sunday, but only in December and January. Well, how we'd do that, let's make another row. We'd say, so 23:59. So 59 is the minute. The hour is going to be 23. It doesn't matter which day of the month. It doesn't really, actually, the month does matter. Only January's and December's. So January's and December's. Day of the week, only Sundays. Okay, we could say because we can. Okay, so there we are. Now what we've got, 23:59 every day of the month. So what this is going to do, 23:59 in January and December, but only on Sundays. Okay, so there we are, and it's going to echo because we can, for example. Now, there's a great website called crontab.guru, okay, that you can take a look at and play around with to see what different cron tab expressions mean, and I'll put a link to it in the resources section. It's awesome, okay? But a great use of cron is to schedule automated backups of the file system. So let's say we want to run weekly backups every Friday at 23:59 for every month of the year. Okay, so if I delete these examples here, delete these. So 23:59 on Fridays for every month of the year. So we know that 59 is the minute. We know the hour is 23. It doesn't matter the day of the month, like numerically. It doesn't matter whether it's the 1st or the 7th. Just every Friday of every month of the year, but only on Fridays. And then we'd put the command, which is going to back up our stuff. Okay, and that's how it would work. But we know how to do this because we can make a script for it. Okay, so let's save our cron tab so far, just like that. And you can see it's wrote 24 lines. But if I actually look, just by the way, while we've been editing that, if I look in the hello.txt, You can see we've got so many more hello worlds being added to that as our cron command that we set before has been continuing to run. So that's really cool, right? It's automated and it's running in the background. Alright, so let's set up the script that we want to run. Now, you remember in the last few videos when I was telling you about bash scripts, we made a folder called bin, and inside that bin folder is where we started putting our scripts, and we had this one file called backup. So let's take a look inside that backup script again. Well, in here, what it does is it compresses into a archive on our desktop every single one of the contents of our documents, downloads, desktops, pictures, and videos folders, and it also outputs some the error, like the standard error, like the log messages that come from the command into the bit bucket. So they're just sent to the void. They're no longer printed to the screen. Okay, so this is good. This is going to do a backup for us. Let's say that actually, instead of sending them to the desktop, let's say that in our home directory, let's say we made a directory called backups. Okay. Oh, I spelled that wrong. So if I rename backups with 2 S's into just backups with 1 S. There we go. We've now got a folder called backups, okay? And let's say we wanted to save the backups in there. So if we go to the bin folder, and we edit our backup script, now we can say, okay, go into our, instead of our desktop, go to our backups folder, okay, and then save the backup.tar.gz. Okay, that's good, and that's good for that. But what we want as well is we want to also log the date and time that the backup was created into a log file. Now, the way that we could do that is we could use the date command, and we could append that data to a file in our backups folder called, let's say, backups.log. Why don't we say that? Okay, so we're going to call it backups.log, and that's just going to keep in there the date and time that the last log happened. Okay, so if we save that, actually we could make it a bit more advanced. We could actually, no, let's leave it like that. Let's not make this any more complicated than it needs to be. Okay, so we're going to take that date and we're going to append it to our backups.log file, and you can see here that I'm using the double arrows to make sure that as this script runs each time, it's going to add it so the file gets longer as time goes on. Okay, so we've now got this script that we want to run, and if we run it, we just run backup from anywhere. If we run backup, you can see that now, if I just put this back to a normal size, if we go into our backups folder, we've now got backups.tar.gz, and we've also got this backups.log. If I open that with nano backups.log, you can see that it's logged the date and time. Okay, so if I just remove everything in here using RM, you can see they've all disappeared. Okay, so we're good. We know that script works. Let's try and add it to our cron tab. Okay, so here we are. We've said that we want every Friday at 23:59. We want that script to run. So how can we do that? Well, the way we can run that is, because it's a bash script, we'll type the bash command, so just bash like that, and then we'll give it the path to the script that we want to run. So in our home directory, in the bin folder, we're going to run the backup script. So that's all we've got to do, right? We just type bash and then give it the path to the script that we want to run, and then that script will now run at 23:59 on a Friday. But to save you waiting all the way till 23:59 on next Friday, let's go ahead and make this run every minute so we can watch it happen. Okay, so look what I'm going to do. Nice hack. Okay, so I'm going to cut the line and uncut the line and then uncut the line again. So that's a nice copy and paste. And I'm going to make this run every minute. Okay, so here we go. We're going to change all of these to stars. Okay. So there we go. Now that should run every minute now. So if I write the file and close it, you can see it's installed the new cron tab. Now in backups, there's nothing in here, but if I look at the date, we can see that we've got about 40 seconds until this runs again. It needs to be very excited, I'm sure. So we've got about 30 seconds. So I'm going to cut the video here and come back close to the time. So here we are. Let's take a look. And it's just gone past the minute, so let's take a look in our backups folder, and hooray! We have indeed run our script correctly. And if we look inside the log folder, if we look at backups.log, we can see that it ran at just past the third minute of today. So the reason that it runs at just the minute past, it's just there's just 1 second error. I think it's just a clock thing. It's, the computer can only process things at a certain time resolution, and 1 second's really not that much of a bad error, okay? So you'll tend to see things like this. I think it actually does run at exactly the time the minute goes, but the date command takes just about a second or so to run or something like that, so there's a slight delay, but really 1 second is not bad at all. So now we have indeed ran our command, and look, it might even happen again. It might even happen again. So if we wait 4 more seconds, 1 more second, yes. Now we look inside our backups.log. We can see that another one has run again just at 1 second past the 4th minute. So now we are making backups every single minute, but that might be a bit of a burden on our computer here. So let's just go ahead, Control and K to delete the line, and then we can save our cron tab and leave it so that it just runs at 23:59 on Fridays. So there you are, guys. How awesome and how epic is that? So I'm sure you can see the power of combining together bash scripts and cron scheduling to control whatever you want about your computer. Now these two skills together are incredibly powerful combination, and you now have the foundation in how they work. So let's have a quick recap of what we've learned in this video. So in this video you took a look at how to use cron to schedule when commands and scripts should be run, and you learned that every user has what is known as a cron tab, and that you can edit cron tabs using the cron tab command with the E option, with the E standing for edit. Now cron tabs are text files that are broken up into many rows, and you can have as many rows as you like, and each command or script has its own row, and each row has 6 columns. The first 5 columns are scheduling information, and the 6th and final column details which command or script should be run at that scheduled time. So the columns are for the scheduling columns, you've got the minutes of the hour. So for example, if you put 15 in that column, the command would only run at the 15th minute of each hour. So things like 11:15, 2:15, 3:15, and so on. Then you've got the hour itself. So that's a number that you can put in 24-hour clock time, so from 0 to 23. You've got then the third day of the column is the day of the month. So again, from 1 to the end of the month, whatever that might be. The 4th column is the month. So that could be numbers, with 1 being January and 12 being December, or you could just type in capital letters the 3-letter version of the month. So JAN for January, DEC for December, and so on. And the 5th column is the day of the week. So that could be 0 to 6, with 0 being Sunday and 6 being Saturday. You could also enter 7 as Sunday again, if you wanted. But a good way to do it is just to enter the day names. So MON being Monday, SUN being Sunday, so 3-letter day names, okay? And you also saw some advanced ways to schedule this stuff as well. And a great place to look at these scheduling things is to look at a website called crontab.guru. I'll put a link to that in the resources section, because it's a great website for you to practice setting up these scheduling conditions, and it also will come useful for you at some point in the future. And as I should mention as well, columns can be separated by as many spaces as you like. All cron wants is that you separate each column by at least 1 space, but feel free to format each rows however you like. Okay, and you also saw in this video how to use cron tabs and bash scripts to schedule automated backups of your home directory, which is an incredibly useful thing to make sure that all your files stay safe, and it built upon what you learned in the last section about file compression and archiving. So that's super awesome as well. Now the key thing that I want you to remember from the last 2 videos is that in Linux practically anything can be edited using the command line. Now since you can write bash scripts to execute these commands in a controlled sequence, and then use cron to schedule when these scripts should be run, you have the necessary toolkit to do whatever you want on your system whenever you want to do it, which is a crazily powerful combination. All you need now is a bit of imagination to decide what you might like to do. Now bash scripts are a whole massive topic in and of themselves, so we only really had time to scratch the surface and cover just a small bit of what they can do in this course, but at least now you have an understanding of what bash scripts are, how they work, and where you might use them. And if you'd like me to create a specialized course on just bash scripts, then send me a message, and if I get enough of you saying that you want that, then I can potentially put that together for you. But for what we've learned in this course so far, I want to make sure you get some practice in using it. So in the next video, you're going to be getting the brief for your next project assignment. Now it'll be a rather simple and fun one this time, but it'll allow you to go off and try writing bash scripts and cron tabs for yourself, so you can get a hands-on understanding of how these incredibly powerful skills work. So for the brief of your next assignment, I'll see you in the next video.